Good morning, everybody. This is the G10FX cloud chart review for January the 16th. The week of the 16th, we're going to look at the daily cloud charts of the G10 currency pairs. Just a brief disclaimer that we're not giving investment advice, just general educational feel ideas as to what to do with cloud charts in the Forex market. So these are the G10 currencies we'll be covering in this week's currency review. We're going to jump right in, and we're going to look at the AUD US dollar, Australian dollar, US dollar. Right now, we've had a nice rally since the MACD buy signal in the beginning of January. We're now fighting resistance at the bottom end of the cloud. We need to see a breakout past this cloud level for an uptrend to start resuming. But still, we have an overall downtrend in place. The cloud is the key resistance area, the top end of the cloud lines there. So watch out for a reversal when we get to these levels. But currently, it's meeting quite a lot of resistance at this level, and we could see a bit of a retracement back down as a 50% retracement of this move. But watch out, if the breakout doesn't come past the cloud, we're most likely going to move down further. So time for a consolidation at cloud chart resistance. Euro US dollar. Yeah, also grinding higher since the MACD buy signal at the bottom end of the cloud. Now, do remember, buy signals at the bottom end of the cloud are pretty weak. So these are just temporarily relief trades. The cloud here is a major resistance zone. Key levels to watch out for is this 1.08 zone. And the first level to test is 1.07. So watch out for these levels. When we get there, we might see a reversal. But so far, watch out for any kind of form of MACD sell signals in terms of profit taking at the bottom end of the cloud. But there's been a nice couple of points in that move. But from a cloud chart perspective, we're getting very close to the bottom end of the cloud here, where we could see some significant resistance come into play. Sterling also gapped down below the 120 this morning, broke through a very long support, broke a range of very long support here, and we could see 116, 118 as the next kind of downside target. The cloud is moving somewhat sideways. The front end of the cloud here is confirming the downtrend that's in place. The problem with the sideways moving cloud, we need to see a breakout from that range. We've now seen the break down towards the downside, so we could see more downside in sterling, and we can see that as a confirmation of the front end of the cloud turning down. So more short selling going on in sterling, and with a downside still in place. It's just a question to see when the MACD divergence takes place to see when we'll be taking profit on that trade. But so far, still going down. New Zealand dollar, US dollar. A nice little rally there on a MACD buy signal. We're now at the bottom end of the cloud. Yeah, significant resistance zone. We need to see a breakout past this cloud to confirm a long-term buy on that. But as you can see, the front end of the cloud is still showing more long-term downside, and we now, similar to the AUD US dollar, yeah, we're fighting cloud chart resistance, so we could see a consolidation back to a 50% retracement of this entire move here. We could see consolidation back down to a 70.28 zone for support. Okay. US dollar CAD, Canadian dollar, broke through the bottom end of the cloud here, confirmed the front end of the clouds, confirming a new downtrend in place. We rebounded from the bottom end cloud support here, so we could see it grinding back up to the bottom end of the cloud for support, but we still haven't seen the MACD buy signal coming into play. So we're waiting for a weak MACD buy signal here, but so far still remaining short after the sell signal at the top end of the cloud here. Watch out for support here at 1.30 zone. US dollar Swiss franc grinding or sliding lower towards the top end of the cloud for support. This old lows here is currently the support zone. The top end of the cloud here is the next support zone, and the bottom end of the cloud is the extreme support zone. So watch out. We can see further downside in the US dollar Swiss franc as it's consolidating recent move, and the cloud is now the next support level. So more downside to come. US dollar Danish krone, also similar to the Swiss franc, also drifting lower towards the top end of the cloud for support. Watch out for the 6.927 zone as the next major support zone. MACD confirms the sell signal. We remain short. US dollar yen, also a nice sell signal in the MACD a couple of weeks ago. We're drifting down towards the top end of the cloud for support. This cluster of price action here is the first level of support, but the bottom end of the cloud here is the other significant support level at 109. But weakness, remain weak. MACD sell signal remain in place, so we expect it to bottom out at the top end of the cloud for support. US dollar, Norwegian krona. Similar situation when we rebounded from the top end of the cloud here. We had a lovely MACD sell signal. It's still looking good for the downside potential towards the bottom end of the cloud here for support. So watch out for the MACD signal. When we see divergence in that, we'll get out of our short position here. But so far, drifting lower, looking at the top end of the cloud as a key support area. And the Swedish krona, yeah, bouncing, rebounding, or looking for support at the bottom end of the cloud here. So if it's not going to hold, we can see more downside because the front end of the cloud is indicating that we might have more downside to come. But if we have a rebound, the rebound will take place right down to the bottom end of the cloud here, and then we could see the downtrend commence. But so far, remain short and look for support to come in at the bottom end of the cloud here to get out of your short position. But the long-term picture is looking negative because the front end of the cloud is indicating a longer downtrend that's in place. But the most exciting one, yes, certainly sterling that broke out of a trading range. And we're looking at more downside. Potential support here could be at 118 and 116. These happen to be point and figure chart targets to the downside, which is not on this chart. But you can see that in another Twitter tweet a couple of weeks ago, which targets those are. But what is negative here is we did break out of a very long trading range. Thank you all. Until next time, happy trading.